Hey, what's up? What's up? It is 1:15, March 26th. Um, hey, how's your couple days been going? Um, yeah, I haven't done this in a couple days. And you know what? I'm not gonna be hard on myself about it because I am trying, and we are trying to develop a new habit, although I've been trying to do this for a while, but I feel like I'm maturing. I'm maturing, everyone. You know, I am. I am. I'm maturing because like a lot of the things that I knew that I needed to change about myself in the past, I yeah, I knew it wasn't like the best habit or whatever, but I never took it seriously. That was the biggest problem with a lot of my like everything. Like I never took things that seriously. I always felt like, the little stuff, like being on time and doing what you say you're gonna, and not just going around telling people you're gonna do something and then not do it, and not hold like not do it, and being inconsistent and making empty promises and all the things, and like even when it comes to like taking care of yourself or cleaning your space, like I never took that seriously. And I would hear people tell me, like, hey, you need to improve on this, or this isn't da da da. And I would just be like, oh my gosh, you're just being a nag. You're just being nitpicky. Um, I remember my grandma, my Pukadu, always telling me certain things. And I thought she was just being like, I thought there's people who are just different. I mean, which is true. But the point is, I'm realizing, even the things that my mom used to tell me that I think about. Yeah, like biggest, I have to admit that I was not the cleanest growing up. I wasn't the cleanest girl. I mean, not clean. Let me say that I was clean. Okay, fresh and so clean. For your information, I was not organized. Um, okay, there was some times where I probably wasn't, like, you would define that as not clean. That was like in my teenage years, especially. But for the most part, as an adult, I just hasn't haven't been the most organized. Like I unfortunately had developed a comfort, or I could be like, there could be mess in my room and I will be totally fine. Maybe it's because I'm a creative, or maybe because of childhood stuff, like the environment that, I feel like the environment that you grow up in, like you find like that becomes a norm until you get out of that environment, and then you're like, oh hey, that person doesn't do that, or that person doesn't have this, or this person da 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 da, and then you're kind of like, why? And then you define whether it means something to you, or if it's just a stereotype that was put into your head, or whatever the case may be. So the point is, veering off, but yeah, I'm just really trying to make improvements, and I'm really, taking that seriously. And as I'm trying to make improvements, and actually taking it seriously, like, means a lot. Like there's been like a mental shift in my head of like, no, these are essential if you want to um get to where you're trying to go, Jess. Like, and this is like, I feel like, I just finished my Saturn return. Okay, I need to do a whole video on that, and I will. I will, but I feel like with that, I really just want to dedicate a big chunk. But yes, guys, I did it. Hallelujah. Oh my gosh, man. But it's funny because it's like the lessons are really hitting me hard now, of like, not of like, there's things that I have heard over the course of a couple of years that I knew, like, I kept doing, and I was starting to get like, because when you're going through a Saturn return, is to pretty much create structure in your life, and a certain area in your life that is out of structure. um so, and usually when you're going through a Saturn return, if something is out of structure, then life is going to bring life, then like you're going to encounter life situations that make you do something about it. And if you don't listen, then it's going to keep coming around, keep coming around, keep coming around until you freaking get it. And hopefully it doesn't take for something really unfortunate happens and you are really in a really challenging place for you to get it. Sometimes, we do. This is also what, because if we don't have awareness of like, hey, life is happening for us to teach us a lesson, and you need to look at every obstacle as, hey, what is this trying to teach me? That knowledge right there alone could save a lot of people. But this is why it's important to surround yourself with people who are very much how do you describe it? I want to say like growth oriented, but I don't want to say that, but they're just, I don't know, they're like in tune, they understand, like I don't know. They're not like I don't, they're aware. There we go. I guess that's a good point. They're aware. They have a lot of awareness. They live life with just a bigger awareness of themselves, but awareness of life and just certain things like that. And just like, I don't know. So that's more of the depths of life. If you think of like a deeper meaning or even, that's why, but if not, you're always going to be like, if you don't, like, I feel like before I was very in tune and I was just kind of living life without knowing about anything deeper than just what I saw, the material of life, like you grow up, you do this, da da da. I felt like I was like if anything bad happened to me, I would be like, oh my gosh, like the end of the world, like why, and do I have bad luck, or just like so many things, or it'll make me get down on myself. There's just so many things, but yeah, it felt like I was like what is wrong with me? Why does this keep happening to me? And then that will make me get into a state of like feeling like, all right, well then I could never. Well, I've always been, thankfully though, like even though I've had like thoughts, I've always had something in me that was like super like passionate about life and like wanting to keep I don't know, I've always had inner strength in me to like be able to push forward and be hopeful. That's the biggest thing. I feel like I've always had a lot of hope that things are gonna get better. But anyways, the point is though, yeah, developing the mindset of every time you reach an obstacle in life or a challenge, you really think about what is this trying to teach me, and you extract that, and then you use that as like a way to elevate out of what you're dealing with, is going to be so essential for you when it comes to like your life as you navigate through life. And then also having people that are in better, I want to say not a better place, but who may have like who are good at the things that you're trying to get through or get to, because then they can give you knowledge, and knowledge surely is power, man. But the right knowledge, because a lot of people out here spewing knowledge like they know things, but then they all talk. And that's another thing. That's another reason why I do like to I really, really have get value with teaching through my experience, because like I'm not gonna come on here and try to act like I'm just this perfect person and like I know it all, and like of course I can come on here, learn the lesson, and then come on here and like try to teach people about life when like I don't know, but I'd rather not. I don't know, that doesn't seem authentic to me. And there's some people who are really good teachers like that, and that's not me. I'm like, I'm gonna teach you and like through my experience. So then there's a level of like, yeah, I have this knowledge, but this is how I'm working it in my life, and it's not like a straight line. It's usually like a roller. It's like a all over the place kind of thing, because you're learning, So anyways, a lot of things have been happening too. Like there's been a lot of things. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really feeling like I'm really maturing. I guess this is how it feels when you get through the hurdle, get through the period of your Saturn return. You really start to feel like, all right, the things that you've been really pushing against, once you crash and burn from it, I'm just kidding. Hopefully you don't crash. I mean, hey, everything, but you know, I say that not humorously because like I don't know. I don't take my humor from like I don't take things seriously. It's just I mean, for me I laugh at things because like what am I going to do, like cry about it? Like of course I do cry, but you have to find the humor. Kind of feels like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just better for me to like, because when I'm talking about that, I guess I'm thinking about my own times where I felt like I was crashing and burning, even though that's not. Why am I even saying it like that? It sounds like a very Mercury and Aries word, Aries and Mercury word, for sure. But anyways, I don't know. I don't even know my freaking thoughts. I'm really like I'm not trying to blame things on Mercury retrograde, okay? I'm just very aware of like when there's when I'm like struggling to get my point across. It's easy to know that hey, there's not something wrong with me. It's like the energy of trying to articulate things when you're already bad at articulating, or when you already I know I'm okay, I know I'm being on myself. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Um, what did I turn on the camera to talk about? Because I have a tendency to ramble and then lose track. It's 12 minutes right now. So I just kind of wanted to come on here and just say hi first off. And I also wanted to kind of give a little like update since I haven't like sat down and did a like talk. I don't know, to you guys it may have seemed like not that long. But I'm just laughing because before I turned on this camera, I had just finished a Zoom call with the group of people who I so happened to just find. It's a group of people. First of all, there's a therapy. This Zoom session is like a little meetup, like a little free therapy session type of thing from a therapist who hosts like free like meetup events. And let me tell you what's interesting. I found her through me. I did my meditation a couple days ago. That one time when I did that video, which is probably the last video. Yeah, I think it was the last video where I said, no, it was one of the videos when I said that I ended up doing a meditation and then I ended up for 2 hours it led me to other stuff. So yeah, I was doing the meditation and then I did my journaling afterwards, and then somewhere in my journal, somewhere in my journal prompts, it led me to talk about, to come up with the word, what was the word? I don't remember what the word was, but anyways, there was a word that came up that I wrote down, and then I, for whatever reason, ended up looking up that word on Google, and then I ended up seeing like a article about the word that described what word I was searching or what phrase I was searching, and then I clicked on the article, and it was the psychologist lady, the psychologist. I think that's what you would call her. I don't know, but I'm gonna say she's a psychologist. And then I like loved her article because it completely articulated exactly what I was like thinking for myself what I had been journaling, and it connected things and it added more context and it was just perfect. So it was like instantly, when you read something, you're like, whoa, this really helped me. Of course I'm gonna look at like who wrote it, or then also she mentioned in there that she does, what she does and blah blah blah. So I was like, let me check her out, because this feels aligned. That's another thing. I've been, when you're trying to live life more like connected, I guess you would say, like above the surface, you start to notice, or you be aware, there's an awareness of like your internal self, but there's awareness of the exterior, meaning you know that if you got aligned with something, like synchronicities, like if you were synced up at the right time at the right moment to see something, and there was a spark within you with that, like this resonated with me, and then you have a calling to dive deeper or to see who it is or whatever, so that was like I felt that. And so, yeah, I ended up going to her site, and apparently, like, she is a therapist, which I've been looking for a therapist, let me tell you. I mean, I haven't been looking, but I've had in my mind, like, maybe I really will benefit from some sort of therapy. Because I just like talking. I really do feel like it's therapeutic to just share my emotions, to talk about my emotions. And I find that like having someone else outside of, the core people in my life, which I love, and I love to talk to, but sometimes you need the advice from a professional, that's trained to deal with people, to help people with in certain areas that I don't feel like of course you have a friend, but like they may not be super trained in that, and it's nice for them to listen to it, but sometimes you want someone to explain like why is it that you think this way, or why is it, or what are you trying to articulate. That's another thing for me. I'm not really the best at talking about my emotions. I've been trying to do it more, or expressing how I feel, I think, and once again, I'm an Aquarius, I'm an air sign, so it's kind of weird for me to talk about feelings, not anymore. And I think also I'm different than like, I'm more watered down when it comes to an Aquarius, because I do have Pisces in my, like I have several Pisces placements in my chart. I just gave something away. I didn't give it away. Okay, I shouldn't even have said that. It's okay. You guys will find out more about my placements, whatever. But just know that, okay? And I'm a Pisces rising, so yeah, I do, like, there is an emotional side to me, kind of, but emotions still are weird to, like, talk about. I think it's something that I crave. I really value people who are in tune with their emotions and feelings, but I'm still, like, it's still awkward for me. Although I long for it. I long to have emotional connections with people and deeper connections, but it's like, I'm still awkward. So I don't have that, like, I'm like, I try, but it just doesn't come out right. And then I end up stuttering and then like saying a lot, as I do on these videos. Like, this is a good representation of me trying to like, and then I have the Capricorn Mercury too, which is very like, I'm overthinking about how perfect I'm presenting what I'm saying. And that's totally the opposite of being emotionally connected, like into or talking about your emotions. If you're trying to rationalize your emotions, that's not sharing your emotions. You're just like talking about how you feel and not feeling like any kind of weirdness around it. I don't know, but anyways, so I just have had that in my head. But then I was like, no, I'm not ready to go, to make the investment and do all that stuff. But I'm like, when it comes, I'll be totally open to it. And then I ended up finding that lady, or stumbling on that lady, not stumbling. I know that was meant to happen, but it was just interesting because like, this is why it's important to have, once again, I'm always going to say like moments of stillness to yourself, because then journaling, because then stuff comes up that you would have not caught, because you say you just woke up and got straight to your day and did the typical, went to work, came home, and when you're on that repeat, you miss opportunities for your inner calling to speak through to you, or like God, or whatever you believe in. But it's just some magical things happen when you have consistent moments of stillness with yourself. And that's why I try to do it every day. And even if I can't, it's fine. But every time I do it, and a lot of times it is like, it's not easy, because I'm a person that, like, when they get up, I want to get to it. I want to get to work. I want to do, and I've had to develop a habit of wait, go have that little time with yourself. And that's why I try to wake up early, because then when I wake up early enough, then there's something that makes me feel like, okay, I've woken up early enough to be like, all right, like, the day is not, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not trying to explain that. I'm trying, like, I really don't have the time right now to, like, go into long tangents. So I'm really trying to really get myself. Because also another thing is, as much as I love doing these videos and I could talk all the time, I really am learning a valuable lesson in discipline. Discipline. You know, guys, I have a confession to make. Jess, and sometimes Jessica, have to admit that I struggle with being disciplined. I didn't know that about myself until recently. Wow. And that's why, one of the reasons why my blessings aren't coming to me the way that they need to, because of my struggle with discipline. That's my theory, but not a really theory. That's a knowing, but it's a theory for those who are like, how are you gonna, anyways, it doesn't matter. I know that in my heart, I know that. I've been getting in my own way, guys, because of my habits. Who would have thought? Me. I'm the problem. Okay. Wow. You know, that sounds like a 12th house thing, you know? Let me tell you. I swear, 12th house stuff is so tricky, because it's the untangible. It's the things that you don't see, but you can't see it. You can't touch it, you can't taste it, but it's a heavy shadow that, it's hard though. It's hard, like, when I talk about, like, lack of discipline, that is a thing that I can't see. Obviously, it's a thing. It's a feel. It's a hurdle that you can't see. It's a mental thing. You know, it's a internal thing. It's a psyche thing. Whatever. And now, how in the heck would I be able to establish that unless I did some really deep work on myself? How would I know that has been my biggest problem, instead of something that I can obviously see, like a physical thing, and be like, hey, oh, that's why. Because, like, I don't have like, for example, say I didn't have a computer. Oh, I don't have a computer. No, okay, that's not a good idea. That's not a good good example. But I don't know, or I don't know how to describe it. But that's just a point. I've learned that I really struggle with discipline, okay? And so therefore, I'm really going to need to get on that. Like, I'm really going to have to get on it. So I'm going to have to get on it. There is no excuses. So yeah, I'm just trying to navigate through that. So that means that I'm also going to have to be really disciplined. If I'm going to be posting more and sharing more, I'm going to have to really be disciplined in carving out time to do it. And having a start time and a stop time, instead of doing what naturally I do is, I get the urge to, like, turn on the camera, and it's great because that urge is like, it is my intuition, and, you know, it's like, okay, if I get the urge and I am able to, let me turn on the camera and like say whatever I feel like I need to say, right? but then I get lost in it, and then I start rambling, and then I lose track of time, and then I like I have responsibilities that I have to do or take care of or whatever, and I just kind of get lost in the moment. I swear, it's like things get blurry the outside, and I'm just here. I'm just locked in. And that could be the Pisces energy, the Pisces thing of like being like so I like like time goes away from you. So it's just a bad habit of mine. I mean, I won't say bad habit, but it's just a habit that's not helpful. Like it could be helpful in a time frame, you know? So maybe from now on, when I do these, I'm gonna have to set a timer for myself, and then I'm also gonna have to do a schedule. And I really do. I keep like I've been revising my schedule for so long, so it seems. But I know what it is. I know why. Because for anybody, this is astrology nerd talk. But Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. Uranus is about change. I'm just gonna say change. Oh, let's just say that, okay? Oop, ouch. Yeah, it's just about change, constant like change, new things, breaking free from freedom oriented. Just but let's just use the change. So wherever Uranus has been in sign for in Taurus for a while. I don't even know how long, but I know it's been like several years. And wherever Uranus is in your chart, wherever it's transiting through in your chart, that is where you've been experiencing a lot of changes. So for me, it's in my third house, which has to do with day-to-day life. It's the way that I communicate. It's the things that I do every day. It's like where I go to every day. It's like my day-to-day routine. So definitely I would say like I've had a lot of changes with the way that I communicate, how I communicate, becoming confident with communicating, talking more. For instance, like I used to not really talk on my videos. Just Creations videos. Remember those times? Anybody who's been that long? But now all I do, I won't shut up. Okay, so you see the difference. So yeah, and that's something that I've been really wanting to do though. Like I am a talker. That is the other side of me than the beauty part. But it's like I didn't know how I could combine the two or do whatever. I don't know. Anyways, and then there was I had to overcome a fear of or I have always been conscious that I do communicate and talk differently, and there's just so many things of that, so I had to get over the confidence of the way that I talk and how I talk and blah blah blah, and if anybody cares about what I have to say and blah blah blah. And then oh yeah, and then my day-to-day routines. So Uranus transiting through your third house, a good example of it will be constantly changing your routine, because you're trying to find how you can have more freedom, more room in your routines, your day-to-day life. And for me, there has to be a level of freedom, but I think I've been taking it too far to where I now lack discipline, and now it's causing problems in all aspects of my life. So now I also learned that I can veer into the extremes of things. Oh my gosh, I've been learning a lot about myself, guys. Okay, it's great, but it's like, oh my freaking gosh, no wonder I'm like this. Yeah. Anyways, though. But anyways, I mean, it's more about me like being aware and taking it seriously. That's another thing. I've always been on a journey of learning about myself, but now I'm starting to, things are coming in the ways that they need to come. Let's just say that. Whatever. So yeah, that's just where I am right now. I also did talk about how I want to be more consistent with posting and all that stuff. I want to just brush on that because I said that. And I feel like I need to start like referencing the things that I talked about previously instead of just ending up every day talking about a different thing and then like there's no connection. Or it's just that I just don't talk about it. But yeah, I have said that I really need to that's my goal for this Aries season. So that doesn't mean that it's going to happen exactly like now. But I just wanted to put that out there so I know that that's something that I really want to improve on. And that also falls into the discipline and being consistent and all this stuff. So yeah, I also am going to give myself grace. I love, this is where astrology comes in great handy, because there's a lot of things in retrograde right now. So whenever you're in retrograde, it's not really the best time to like, I mean, you could definitely, you have free will, but if you find that you're trying to be perfect at something or start something or whatever, if you're experiencing setbacks or delays or complications or challenges, it's because of the energy. It's because of the retrograded energy. So it is a good time to just make notes of the things that you want to improve on, anything that's coming up, any new insights, ideas, or anything like that. And you can attempt to, but give yourself grace as you are trying. And don't get discouraged if you hit obstacles or delays, or like things seem to be more challenging. Like you're like, why can't I just be, realize that the energy is in retrograde and it's telling you to actually slow down a bit. And don't try to like, which is very hard, because Aries is not very much about like slowing down. So you have this Aries energy, you may have like a more desire to like act or do, or like you're thinking about things, or you're having your passions about certain things that are coming up. Maybe, I don't know, whatever that's in your life. Or even when it comes to your anger, that's another thing about Aries, like feeling frustration, anger, that kind of thing. Just not, I don't know, just pacing yourself, giving yourself a lot of grace. I think we have a couple more weeks until Mercury is out of retrograde and freaking Venus is out of retrograde. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to talk about, before those are out of retrograde, I'm going to have to talk more. Or I'm just going to have to talk about that because I have some stories on those. But yeah, so just remembering that we have several things that are very important, especially Mercury retrograde and then Venus retrograde. So just, pace yourself and know that the energy wants you to like slow, not rush anything, and like this is happening for a reason. I think it's because we need to catch ourselves, or just be more observative, instead of being perfect and trying and then learning from us trying and maybe falling into like back, we're just trying to figure it out right now. So be in the trying to figure it out stage and continue to try, and don't be hard on yourself if you're not perfect. And the goal is not perfect, the goal is to just continue to try and improve along the way. So yeah, that is what I have to say. I feel good about that. And I don't know, I always say that I plan to come back, but I never end up doing that because my day ends up going. So yeah, but that's what I wanted to say. Also, I do have a new podcast out. It's called Intimate Talks with Jess. It's kind of the same style as I did when it came to my deep talks. But I just wanted to call it Intimate Talks because I really do love having intimate talks with people. When I say intimate, I mean like 101. And then like talking about like yeah, being intimate, being vulnerable. Like that's more, it's like vulnerable, open talks, and like the intimacy of having like a one-to-one, and maybe talking more about feelings, or like diving deep and like being open, that I would say. So and then also like, I don't know, I really love to talk about like taboo stuff, so I do feel like I really want to dive deeper into that, and then bringing on like people. I just have some ideas, okay? And I just like, for me, I've always been an open person, and like nothing is off topic for me, and I actually like to talk about the things that people don't like to talk about. So I do want to bring on people like that, and that's where I'm starting to realize, okay, there's certain things that I'm going to post on my channel, but then I'm starting to know like what things are for that I'm going to want to put on my Patreon, and just certain things like that. So I'm trying to like navigate everything, and have balance, and not rush things, and just have awareness. Any ideas that I have, jot it down, and just let it sit And then I know by the end of retrograde, when retrograde ends, then there will be clarity on whatever I need to just like, all right, hit the ground running on. Because then, oh my gosh, after this retrograde, that's where the Aries season, that's where the Aries energy is going to be picking up, which I'm happy for us individually. I'm a little bit like, I don't know what that means for the collective of the world and certain things like that. See, I'm not gonna try to be present and not concern myself about the things that I can't control. But what I can do is try to, you know, do my part and spread like positivity and good vibes, self-care, connection, all of those things, focusing on the things that I can't control. So, yeah, it's myself and how I show up in the world. And for you too, of course. I'm an extension of you. So whatever I say for myself is you take whatever extract whatever that is that needs to be. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, this has been fun. I will see you when I see you again. If it's not later today, which it probably won't be. Actually, no, I have been thinking about going on live too, but I don't know. We'll see. I just have so many things I want to do. Pace yourself, Jess. Slow down. Calm down. We're in retrograde. Bye.